Hello, it is Permanent Root and welcome to TryHackMe's Mnemonic room walkthrough. The link for the room in the description of this video, and as always during this walkthrough I won't show you any plain text passwords, but I will demonstrate you the proper way to get this room done. So machine is started, I'm connected to the VPN, so without wasting any time, let's get straight to the enumeration. Again, before running any enumeration commands, I did the export command with the variable name IP and specified the machine's IP address to use the $IP in all my future commands. Also, I ran all the necessary scans in the background, so let's just check the output files. First, let's check Nmap, and as always, a command for you to run. And as you can see, we have 3 ports open. First, it's the FTP on port 21, and we don't have anonymous access there. Second one is the port 80 HTTP Apache, and we have SSH on port 1337. So remember that SSH on this machine is not on the default port. Also, we have this interesting entry from the robots.txt file. So on the web server, we have directory called webmasters. So the web port is the only port we can enumerate further. So let's switch to the browser. Going to machine's IP address, we have this page with the single word test, but we know that we have the directory called webmasters, but it shows the blank page. So we need to enumerate it with the Gobuster. Let's just go and check Gobuster results. First, let's check webmasters.txt command for you to run. And as you can see, we have 2 entries, which is admin and backups. Again, let's check what we have on the admin. So I just ran another Gobuster scan, and as you can see, we have a few HTML files, but index.html has size of 0. And also on the admin.html and login.html, you won't get anything useful, so don't waste your time there. There is a login page where you cannot authenticate because it's broken, and that's it. So it's kind of a rabbit hole. But also we have a directory called backups, and let's check the Gobuster output for it. And as you can see, I ran the Gobuster command with specifying a lot of extensions, which probably can be used for a backup file. It's the archive files, maybe txt file, and we get a backups.zip entry. Great, let's download this file. So specifying the file name, which is backups.zip, we can download this archive, and also I need to move it to my current directory. And if we try to unzip this file, we are asked to provide a password. So we need to crack this archive with the use of a tool called zip2john. It's installed with the John the Ripper. So all we have to do is run zip.john, specifying the archive we want to break, and redirecting the output to the txt file, which I'll call archive.txt, which will contain the hash info. So let's run this command. And now all we have to do is run john archive.txt, which has the hash, and the word list, which is RockU. So with the use of RockU, you will definitely get all passwords from this room. Again, I won't run this command because I won't show you the password, but you can do it on your own. Now, after getting a password, we can unzip this archive. So I'll copy the password in the background and paste it in the form. So we have the folder called backups and the file called node.txt. Let's check it. We have the message, which is James, new FTP username is FTP user. So now we have a proper username for FTP. And also we have to work hard, obviously. At this point, we can use Hydra to get a proper password for FTP server. So all we have to do is run this command, which is specifying the FTP user, again, rock word list, and the FTP server. So it won't take long and you will get the FTP password. Now let's log into the FTP server. So I'll just simply use FTP, FTP user, and the password. So login is successful. Now we can check what we have on the FTP. And as you can see, we have 10 folders. You can check all of them in order, but as always, check for something special, something unique. And as you can see, folder number 4 has this value, which is 4, and it differs from the other directories. So we can start from this directory. Let's just cd to data 4 and check what we have. And bingo, we have ad_rsa file, which is always nice. And we have some not.txt. Let's just get ad_rsa and get not.txt. Now we can leave the FTP server. Let's check first ad_rsa that it's the proper file. Yes, it's the SSH key and the not.txt. So it just says James change FTP user password. Again, we have the username, which is James. So we can probably use it for the SSH. Don't forget about changing the permissions for the ad_rsa file. So I'll use change mode 600 ad_rsa. So if you try to connect with this ad_rsa file, you will be asked for a password. So we need to use another tool from the John pack, which is the SSH to John. So you need to simply run SSH to John, specify the file, and I'll redirect the output to the ssh.txt. And again, run the John with the ssh.txt, rockyou.txt, and you will have a valid James password. Now that we have the password for ad_rsa, let's just connect via SSH, specifying the username IP address. Again, don't forget that the port is 1337 and specify the ad_rsa. Now let's enter our password, and it asks us for the James password as well, and it's the same password as for ad_rsa. So let's just type it again, and we are logged in as James. So first of all, let's check if we can switch directory to the root. And as you can see, we get this message, restricted. And if we echo shell, as you can see, our shell is bin rbash. So it's the restricted bash, and it's our first problem to deal with. And the second one, it's this IPS IDS system, which is on, and it messages us that unauthorized access was detected. So it will disconnect your SSH session like in 2-3 or so minutes, so you have to be quick. But before dealing with this IPS IDS system, we need to break out of the jail shell, which is created via rbash. So to get out of this jail shell, you can simply search for rbash escape, and via the first link you will get plenty of ways. I'll leave the link for this website in the description. And we can use the first option, which is just specifying -t bash no profile in our command for SSH. Now let's specify the -t option. So the SSH James and -t bash no profile. Let's specify the password. And now we can move in any directory we want. But don't forget about, this IPS IDS system. Let's enumerate fast. First, let's go to our home directory we're in and let's check all the files that we have. So we have this 6450.txt and note4james.txt. Let's grab them via python 3-m http.server and let's use port 4.8. Now let's get those files with the wget http :// port is 4.8 and it's 6450.txt and note4james.txt. Nice. Let's enumerate those files later. Again, also, let's go to the home directory and check all the users. As you can see, we have plenty of users, but the interesting part that for the user Condor, we have read permissions for his directory. So let's check the ls-lh for his directory. And as you can see, we have two directories with the strange names, which as you can see is the base64 encoded strings. Let's just copy them to decode them later. Again, we are limited on time. I'll just create nano test.txt and paste both those strings. So now we should be good to go. We don't need this session anymore. Let's enumerate all the things we've found. Now let's start with the base64 encoded strings and let's copy the first string and use echo-n, paste the string and pipe base64-d. As you can see, it's the link for some JPEG image. Let's copy it and open it in the browser. So it's the Kevin Mitnick and it's the cover for the YouTube video called Password Cracked. Let's save this image. So I'll save it into my YouTube folder, into Mnemonic, and let's also use it in the backups. Now, regarding the second base64 encoded string, I won't show you the decoded result because it's the user flag. So just simply copy this string, paste it between single quotes, as we did with the first string, and you will get the user flag. First, let's check the file called 6450, and as you can see, it's a bunch of numbers. It may look like a word list at first, but some values are in this file more than once, so it's probably not the word list. And the second file, which is note for James. So James, I found a new encryption image-based name is Mnemonic, and I created the Condor password. Don't forget the beers on Saturday. So we have this image with the Kevin Mitnick. We have this file with a bunch of numbers, and in the node, now we know that we're dealing with some image-based encryption. So we need to get a software which will allow us to decrypt those numbers. Now we need to simply search for image encryption mnemonic, and first link you get, it's the mnemonic cryptography from the GitHub. I'll also leave a link for this repository in the description. And as you can see, we have the similar image from the TryHackMe room. And if you read through this description, you will notice that this is the program we were looking for. So now let's simply click download zip, and we'll get the zip archive with all these files. So I moved this zip archive to my current directory. So now I can unzip it and change directory to Mnemonic master. As you can see, we have a few Python scripts, but we're interested in mnemonic.py. So let's run it. And first we need to specify the image file path. And after specifying the image path, we get two options. First is encrypt, second one is decrypt. Let's choose the second one. And here we need to specify the path for the encrypted message. In our case, it's the file called 6450. At this point, as soon as you press enter, you will get the password. It's that easy. Now that we have Condor's password, let's SSH as Condor user and provide the password. So we're logged in as the Condor. First thing I always check is my sudo abilities. So let's run sudo -l, specify the password. And as you can see, we get a nice vector for privilege escalation. It's the Python script, which is example code.py, that we can run as the root user. Let's check this script. Let's check first of all what we can do with this script. I'll grab example code. And as you can see, the script is unfortunately not writable for us, but we can read the source code. First, let's check what the script does by simply running it as, again, sudo. Let's run it. And we get 7 options. So like it's the show if config. Let's just select 2. And it just shows us the output of ifconfig command. Okay. Now we can exit. Let's type yes. And check the internals of the script. Let's use get example code.py. So here are all the options we saw before, and as you can see, we have this option number 5, which is root shell spawn, but it's a troll. As you can see, if we move up, if we select number 5, it will run the shutdown now command and it will turn off your target machine. But if you look closer through this Python script, you will notice that for the selection number 0, which is the exit, the script checks for 2 if statements. And the second one is obvious. If our input is yes or just y, it exits the script. But if our input is just a dot symbol, it prints out the running with the 4 dots and it will run the command we provide. So let's check if it's so. Now I'll rerun the script. I'll select the 0 and I'm typing only single dot. I'm pressing enter. And now the simplest way to spawn a root shell is just simply type bin bash. And as you can see, I'm root. Let's go to the root directory and we have root.txt file. But it's not over for this room. If you open root.txt file, you will notice that it has the default like TryHackMe's flag, which is TryHackMe, curly braces, and some text. But this text is not hashed and it asks you to hash it. So you can simply run echo-n, in single quotes provide the text, and pipe it to MD5 sum. Oops, MD5 sum, yes. And you will get this hash, which you will put between curly braces and submit the final flag. So that's it for the mnemonic room. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, leave a like or dislike. If you have some questions or stuck at some point, welcome to the comments. I'll try to help you. And subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss more security related content. And I'll see you later.